Yeah, it's 11. So in the extraordinary meeting of the Planning Environment Committee.
Sorry, Luke, I have to speak up.
Sorry.
I'm this close and I can't hear.
Right. Anyway, so we'll get on to the first agenda item. That's 15.19.1 to receive apologies for absence. We have apologies.
Councillor Peter Moore.
Richard, on that.
Yes.
Right, so she's about to accept the reason for absence.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. 25.19.2, so declarations of interest for dispensation to discuss or discuss and vote on a matter in which a member or court member has a disclosable pecuniary or non-pecuniary interest. Do you have any members of any interest?
No, Chair.
Next item. 25.19.3, open forum. Comment and questions concerning the items on this agenda. They put to the council by the public during the period in which the chair's view required debate and/or discussion will be referred to the next committee or council meeting as appropriate. Public forum restricted to 15 minutes unless the chair allows otherwise. We have no members of the public, so we'll bypass that and move on to the next item. 25.19.4, to approve and sign the minutes of the Planning and Environment Committee meeting of 15th of July 2025. Any councillors have any comments on that meeting?
Oh, sorry.
Any comments on the last committee meeting?
No. Well,
No.
The minutes seem okay to me, Chair. I would just like to raise the issue of another care home in Mobley, which is not too far distant from the Knoll House site, which makes me feel a little bit more definitive, let's say, about not recommending that a care home be built on the Knoll House site.
Yeah.
Apart from that, the minutes seem fine to me.
Proposer? Yeah. Second. All in favour? Okay. Next item, 25.19.5, consider planning application 25/1821/Powers, erection of a single-storey rear extension, erection of a replacement front porch, erection of lean-to roof on-site elevation with door and associated external works, including widening of drive, 29 valid drive platform. I believe this application has been decided. It's been approved, so we'll bypass that item. What's the next one? Consider planning application 25/2106/House for a single-storey rear and side extension, 1 Gilman Drive, Hancock. I believe this was also being decided and approved in the time since the last meeting, so we'll bypass that. On to the next item, 25.19.7, to consider planning application 25/2338/House, erection of outbuilding to garden area, erection of fencing and associated landscaping works, 19 Holwood Road, Hancock. So this application considers the erection of an outbuilding on residential plots. It also includes fencing to screen the unit from the main frontage driveway. There's no specific concerns with the application in principle. However, there are two that I noticed. So on the planning portal, it only shows the plans for the unit. There's no information on how it will be connected by utilities. They've just confirmed that it will have water utilities at the very least. Previous applications similar to this have also been refused by Cheshire East on the grounds that they could serve as self-catered unit, meaning that they could be rented out separately. I don't think that's really a reason for refusal as long as it's conditioned appropriately. Do any councillors have any comments on that?
the only thing, sorry, Roger, you want to say? Go on.
There were no objections, were
Not that I'm aware of,
there? I
no.
didn't see any.
No.
Do we know the height of that fence? I couldn't find anywhere the height.
Yeah, to be honest, I couldn't see that myself.
To me, looking at the plans, it's too high. It's like a fortress. If it was a hedge, I'd go with it at that height, but not a lath, whatever you call it, wooden fence.
Is there no limit on the height for fencing?
The
Right?
6 foot is the limit for.
Yeah.
Sorry,
The 6 foot is the limit for fence height.
is it?
Yeah, generally.
This-
And their boundary has a 12-foot low land line hedge adjacent to it.
This fence, I think the first point to be made is that the property forms part of an estate where the frontage of homes is essentially open plan. But the fence that they're proposing is aligned with the front of the bungalow and should not therefore detract from the open plan nature of the frontages to Hallwood Road. As Lucas or Ashley has just said, the other boundaries of the property have a substantial coniferous hedging to them. So I don't find the fencing should be castigated. It seems, I don't know about the height, it might want reducing in height a bit, but I think its position and its function is perfectly okay.
Yeah, I've just got the plans up here. It does look like the fencing is sort of roughly within reason 6 foot.
That's more than, because looking at the building that they're proposing, it looks on a par with that. So you're not, the building is going to be high at more than 6 foot to get someone in.
Yeah, the building itself is slightly higher than the fence is.
It's only slight, it's only,
Yeah, it just peaks over.
The fence is not immediately adjacent to the public footpath, so I think rules about how high it can be are a bit vague. I know there are strict rules if the fence is right next to the public footpath, but if it's well within the plot, the garden plot, I'm not sure what the rules might be there.
I think, in fairness, it does appear that the fence alongside being protecting the new outbuilding, it looks like it actually makes the back garden of the dwelling also contained, which, in the interest of safety, is a fair move from the applicant.
This outbuilding is unlikely to lead to a loss of privacy or light for near neighbours, and I don't think any objections from neighbours have been recorded, have they? It's obviously going to be a granny flat or granny apartment, since there's a bathroom, a utility room, and a small room which perhaps is going to be a bedroom.
I think, just in the interest of making sure that it's not a self-contained unit, we should ask for a condition that it won't use a self-contained unit, or at least a confirmation from the applicant that it will be used as a granny flat and not as a self-contained sublet unit.
But as a drawing stand, it will be a self-contained unit, won't it?
yeah.
As long as it's not sublet, because I suppose it can be a self-contained unit. It's whether or not it's sublet that or let out, I should say, which.
It's not got separate access or anything, has it?
No, we don't really have that.
Sorry, it's
You haven't got separate access.
Separate access.
No,
No, it doesn't, does
it's
it?
through the,
So that would be difficult, but yes, I think it needs pointing out, doesn't it?
Yeah, because if it is going to propose a new bedroom as well, it would require an extra parking space. It would, yeah, actually.
Oh, the only. Oh, there is a couple of things on here, isn't there? 3 Morton Drive. Just asking about the hedge not to be removed. 9 Morton Drive.
That's the very tall land, is it?
It is that we discussed.
No guarantee, of course, that won't be damaged when all the fencing is done and so forth. But
There is a
one of those, isn't it?
objection on there, but nothing substantial.
I think in that case we propose that we support the application, just with the conditions or confirmation that it will be used as a granite flat, not as a self-contained unit. I think also to ensure that the hedge is retained within reason to protect privacy and the character of the area. I propose that.
Yeah.
It can't ever become a unit which can be sublet, can it? Because it will be totally enclosed by the fencing and the conifer hedge and so on, and it's going to be extremely close to the existing property building. I'm beginning to think that our worries about it being sublet as an independent unit are not really worth.
I think it's still a check because it could be sublet, for example, as a as a short stay, as a Airbnb. You get quite a lot of units that are similar to this that are sublet in the same way.
I think it's an important point to make, even if you think that it can't be used. You'd be surprised what people are prepared to do. So I think it's an important point to make.
So can we have again what the proposed response is going to be?
No objection, but conditioned obviously a sublet unit and the hedge is retained within reason.
Okay.
Is that process second? All in favour? So let's take this to item 2519 8 is a planning application 25/1955/res. Reserve master application, access, appearance, landscaping, layout and schedule relating to parcels 2 and 3 of Hancock Garden Village pursuant to application reg 19/0623M for the erection of 106 dwellings, access from Dairy House Lane, landscaping, public open space, internal access roads, car parking and associated infrastructure as the land east of the A34 and south of the A555 Hancock. So as you're aware, this is part of the Garden Village. It's the development of part of parcel 2 and parcel 3 for 106 homes. Of course, as the description mentions, it is approved in outline. So this is one of the reserve matters that will make up the wider village. Considering that it's approved in outline, I don't think there's too many pressing concerns. The design layout, everything seems appropriate, in my opinion at least. There's a few issues that I've picked up on. Obviously, with this being the first of Garden Village, the local centre that is supposed to serve all these homes isn't yet being proposed. And obviously we don't know when that will be in place. I've looked into this site and it does appear that it's quite a significant way to walk from this site to any local centre or services. The absolute shortest via solely pedestrian means would be a 30 to 40 minute walk from the site, Dairy House Lane, through the public right of way alongside the A555 and down Hill Road to Hanforth Dean, which I don't think is really acceptable for any resident to have to walk that far to shops, let alone doctors. And that's not even considering the schools that people will be going to. There's no way to get out of this site other than by private car or by taxi going through Stockport Borough. So even if this is only reserved matters for the first part of it, it's still, even in the short term, not acceptable for any resident to have that awkward access to the site. The other concern I have is with affordable housing. I did look into the outline application, which confirms that the reserved matters would deal with the affordable housing at the borough line figure of 30% affordable. This application is on any details on affordable housing. I don't know if that's because they'll be part of the wider site or if they're just not included in this. But I think in the interest of just having a fair and mixed community, it would be ideal for this site to contribute to the 30% affordable mix.
Good notice that the applicant was working with Great Places, which is either a housing association or something to do with affordable housing.
Okay.
They're the joint applicant on this.
Yeah. As far as I can see, there's no information on how the affordable, like the specific mix of the affordable housing or which units might be affordable. It doesn't say that that's included in these reserve matters, so whether that's a matter to be considered further, I'm not sure.
Yeah, can I make a point? My concern about all of this, because as you quite rightly say, there's no way other than by car, is where are these people going to access medical facilities, doctors? Because I happen to know that the sanctuary, they are not allowed to use the doctors in the village. They have been told that they have to go to Wilmslow. So now I know that in the bigger scheme of things, when this is all finished, or further on, there will be a doctor's surgery. But in the meanwhile, these people have got to travel potentially to Wilmslow, and I think that's totally unacceptable. Or maybe even, I don't know, maybe somewhere in...
I was thinking Greater Manchester.
Yeah.
I think they'll be going to Greater Manchester.
They are better connected.
But I want to know what the plans are for them there, because nobody in the sanctuary had any idea that they wouldn't be able to use the same facilities. And quite a number of those people have moved from within Handforth, still think they're in Handforth, and they are closer than some of the areas that the doctor's surgery does cover, and yet they can't use the facilities. And I think that's a huge concern. Now, whether that's because of numbers or what, I'm suspecting it must be, but it was something we raised originally about the whole garden village. And if you're going to have people in areas like this where they can't get in and out, you need to have some kind of facility for them.
Technically, the entire garden village will fall outside the catchment area of both Handforth health centres.
So where are they going to...
That pressure won't be on Handforth health centres.
Say again?
That pressure won't be on Handforth health centres.
But you wouldn't expect...
You wouldn't expect it. You wouldn't expect it. No.
Would you?
No.
Because some of the houses at the end of the estate are further away than the sanctuary is.
Yeah.
So I'd like some guidelines as to where it's all going to work out, when the doctor's surgery will be available, and where these people are going to go in the meanwhile.
Yeah.
Is there a plan for the infrastructure? Is there a deadline, guidance to it?
There might be in the outline application, but with the reserve matters, there's no way.
50 houses?
No, that's the installation of the car park. So.
If my memory serves me correctly, money from the Garden Village development is going to be used to greatly expand the Handforth Health Centre. It's single story at the moment. I believe that a multi-story health centre on the present site is going to be constructed.
On where? On the current site?
Yeah.
But these people have got a ridiculous trek from where they are. So that's really not an option, is it, for them?
The other aspect of the development of the Garden Village site is that there was proposed to be a particular bus service from the centre of the site into the centre of the village. Now, is that bus service going to be instituted as and when these houses are built, or much later? So I totally accept the point that several of us have made, that these houses are a long way from the village centre at the moment, and it's a long walk there to get to any of the facilities. So it'd be worth inquiring whether or how soon that bus service is going to be provided.
Sorry, Roger, didn't that bus service include the car park?
Yes, because it was supposed to come in
together, weren't they?
Wasn't it? And then go on elsewhere, go through Wilmslow and so forth.
I thought it was coming through the village, through here, terminating here, pick up, and going down to the traffic lights and turning back through Handforth.
Well, I don't think it's ever been finalised, has it? Because there was talk of it going a much further distance
All right.
and picking people up. So whether that's, I mean, those plans are all
I'm
very
not
different.
100% sure of that. There was talk of it going to London, there was talk of it just
Yeah.
being a turning circle here and going back in as a shuttle service. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how I envisage it. Then they talked about it going further afield.
They did.
So I don't
So
know whether
I
that's
don't know.
true or not.
No. That's not a decision they're going to make, I don't think, straight away.
No, but the important thing is these people have access.
Yeah.
May I make one or two general comments? The first one I've got on my list is that I'm pleased that this application has been put in because it tends to remove uncertainty in the Handforth population as to whether the garden village is going to go ahead or not. You talk to the general public in the area, they don't know what's going on. And I think this helps to remove some uncertainty. There are several different types of housing proposed for this site, and some of them are obviously quite small in size, and therefore probably will become affordable homes or even homes run by housing associations. So I'd like to say that I think this plan is good in that the houses proposed are the type that are needed, both within the borough and within our township. The other thing I like about this plan is that there's been retention of a strip of greenfield land between this development and the A555, and that strip of greenfield land looks quite wide and includes an orchard, and that's important for the maintenance of a green belt buffer between us and Stockport. The other thing that we ought to raise at some stage or other is, and we've done this before umpteen times, how is surface water and foul water going to be drained from this site? There was an era when it was suggested that it was all going to come to the main drains within the road which runs, whose name I won't be able to spit out, but it runs between the next store and Stanley Road. Earl Road is what I wanted to say. And or the use of, yet again, the sewers running down the centre of Hall Road. So I think it would be good to have some indication of how surface and foul water is going to be drained from this site.
I do think the Lead Local Flood Authority has made a comment on the application already. I'm not sure if that might cover some of those issues.
There is, of course, running alongside this development, the origin of Spath Brook. And if it's planned that all the surface water pours into Spath Brook, then that has implications downstream, which could be quite severe for houses on Woodlands Road, Woodlands Road, and indeed houses on Brenton Road. They'll perhaps have their gardens swept away by torrential downpours, all coming down the Spath Brook.
Yes, I really back you up on that one, because we seem to be building all of these additional houses, and I've got no issue, well, apart from we're losing all this land, okay, it's gone now, hasn't it? That's a different issue. They are not expanding the existing infrastructure to enable it to cover and take all the waste and what have you, water and such like, from these sites. And from the report that was on the news very recently about pollution in rivers and so forth and so on, I think it's a really important point that they actually extend the whole system and not just put a new system in to go into the old one, because the old one was built for so much fewer houses. and therefore a much smaller population. You're going to add all of these into the mix, we're going to have problems down the line, as we already know we've had on Hall Road. So it's a very important point.
These houses are in the plot known as Dairy House East, and according to the colour-coded map, they represent, I think, medium density housing, and they all look pretty closely packed in together, which makes me wonder about the plot immediately south, which is designated as high density housing, although maybe that's an apartment block. Would that come under high density housing, apartment blocks? Or
Makes
would
sense, doesn't it? Don't it?
It makes sense, but I think high density is probably more like terrace housing.
well, there are terraced houses in this unit.
Don't think there's going to be any like big tall tower blocks or anything like that though.
No, but there might still be apartment blocks there, mightn't there?
Yeah, but I think the maximum
I mean,
is
if you
3 story.
look at that site plan, it's difficult to see how you could pack more houses in that area to make it high density housing without the use of apartment blocks. It is all going to be right next door to employment land, of course. Just to the left of this development is land marked for employment, which includes the Ministry of Defence land.
Which again is a bit of a misnomer, isn't it? Employment land, and there's not, the access isn't really desirable, is it, for businesses? Because it's got no access to the main roads, has it?
Only if you come through Total Fitness.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that would work. But that's not on the agenda, is it? It's
No.
I think it's a good point to bring up Total Fitness, because I've looked into the access to there just to get some kind of grasp of access to the rest of Handball. Now that's obviously a private carriageway at the moment. They wouldn't be able to go through there to get to Handball. That's just another point though. Thought I've said that.
Yes, that's just the bit of land within Total Fitness car park, I presume.
But there's no carriageway through that site without going through the Total Fitness car park.
Correct, yeah.
So I think, at least for me, one of the concerns would be that there would have to be some kind of other means of access to get
Well, of course,
between the site and
the road between Total Fitness and the A34 is going to be totally taken out and replaced, and there's going to be from the Coppice Way roundabout, there's going to be a direct road straight into the village centre, isn't there, which will be where's the colour-coded thing, which will be southwest of this particular site.
but that doesn't affect these people, does it? Or does it?
Well, it will do eventually.
Yeah.
When it's done.
When it's done, yeah.
I think this developer is probably taking this opportunity to get easy access to certain parcels of land on that side of the garden village, which gets the ball rolling. We won't suffer the construction traffic. Residents of Handball won't suffer.
No, that's coming in from.
No, somebody will.
Somebody will. Yeah,
But I thought from our discussions with the Garden Village team that the infrastructure would be built prior to the housing.
Yeah. Now, that doesn't mean to say that they still haven't got that 2 years to put that infrastructure in, and then these have still got a year left on their planning application to make a start, and 3 years left to make a start.
It just seems a bit strange to me that they haven't even started that yet, but now we've got a planning application.
Yeah.
And that's a bit concerning.
Yeah. Unless, and we don't know this, there might be some infrastructure on that northern part of the site from the old MOD land.
Possibly. Do we have a
Possibly.
meeting with them fairly soon?
But we'll have to arrange one and ask them these questions.
We
but
need one, don't
Yeah.
we? Desperately,
Yeah.
because the plans have obviously changed quite dramatically.
Massively, yeah.
So we do need to know what's
see if
going
we
on.
can- Yeah, because I'm wondering how because if they're putting this in, they might not have bought the site from Cheshire Council yet. But obviously Cheshire Council will be wanting the money, won't they? By selling the site, because they're selling a lot of sites around the area, we don't even notice.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 2 other sites I can name around the industrial estate, and they've gone from letting to selling. So they're obviously trying to put in some cash now, aren't they?
And maybe that's why
And I'm wondering if that's what's going on here.
they're frightened that they won't be able to sell it
Yeah,
because of other people selling other land.
yeah.
But without having the full plan in place, I don't see how they can just deal with it piecemeal.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
That doesn't, there has to be an overall plan for the whole.
yeah.
That's how it was always presented to us, was it not? Over Councillor Small? It was always presented to us that it was an overall view. It would be done in parcels of land, correct? But that the infrastructure and things would be there prior to this building. So that's my understanding.
That's the impression I got too from him.
How should I comment or respond to that? I would counsel against any argument that this ought to be delayed until such time as we have a school and this, that and the other, because this has an important role to play in removing uncertainty in people's minds as to whether this garden village is going to occur or not. When you look at this plan, it also removes uncertainty in the minds of people who think, well, now that the garden village has got to this stage, are they going to abandon the garden village nature of the site? And I don't think that's going to happen. I can see lots of green on this plan here, and I think basically the blocks of houses are going to be separated by nice green open spaces. Ponds are going to be retained. So I think they are working to the original concept. Of course, they're going to try and squeeze in as many houses as possible, but there we are. I think the last time we heard, one of the more immediate things was going to be the construction of the access road into the village centre from the Coppice Way roundabout. And when that happens, this road to Total Fitness will be modified, greatly modified. The westward element of it, I think, is going to disappear entirely. So there'll be a more direct link from the centre of the proposed garden village to the gates of Total Fitness. That's what I recall, but I haven't looked at these.
No, there's £10 million contract with Garden BT to put the infrastructure in. So I don't see how they can get out of that. So I think they've got to crack on really.
Yeah.
I just question your theory about the garden village and them sticking to the original plan. Yes, we've got lots of green spaces there. That's wonderful. But there's a lot more to a garden village than just green spaces. Are they still adhering to all the other things, the central systems and the eco development? It doesn't look like it to me from what I've seen, but I'm not sure.
They did get a government grant for that heating system, and I think they've got to put that in.
They have, but I can't see it on these
maybe
plans.
Maybe that's underground.
I'd like to know.
I don't know.
Because there are very strict guidelines about what makes a garden village. And in order to have that title, garden village, they have to hit certain guidelines and do certain things. And I don't see that, apart from it's very nicely bounded by all this green land, and that's great, they're keeping the boundary, I'm all for that. What about the rest of it? That's my biggest
Well, these are
query.
these are questions which we need to ask next time we have a meeting with the
Yeah.
organising team.
Do we ever have a plan of the actual garden village, the whole area?
Yeah.
Yes, we've got a big
Ashley's
plan.
office wall.
Yeah, on Ashley's wall,
Oh,
there's a
right.
plan of the areas.
Yeah.
Showing ponds,
Yeah.
houses, whatever.
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Does
They're
that,
just divided into parcels of land.
Mm.
There's no overall, there's a plan there and they're all, you know, in different particular
It's an
parcels like that
extension
one there.
of, this is just,
But
Right.
the
yeah, I
overall
think
plan is an extension of this,
got you.
so same colour coding and so on.
it's my feeling that we need a lot of clarification from the people from the garden
I
village.
think it's them that we need to speak to more than anything,
Yeah.
really. Yeah, I think you're right
Yes.
on that. Yeah, it's them that we need to speak.
I mean, it doesn't mean to say I'm against this.
no.
But I
It's-
just want
it's-
to know how the plans are moving
I know
forward.
it's in the local strategic plan, so you can't really argue. Again, you can ask as many questions, and you're quite right to. But I think we need to ask them at the garden village a lot, don't we?
Yes,
I
we
think
do.
so, yeah.
We
Yeah.
do, because
I think we
there's
need to ask
too-
them at
for
them.
me, there's too much uncertainty.
Yeah.
Can we provide like provisional comments without a sentence, like without saying it's for or objective, just a few comments to say.
I mean, you can comment, but it's. Yeah, you can just comment, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's worth speaking to developers later on, but I think for now it might be worth putting in some concerns to them through our etc. comment, just because there are a few matters that definitely would still be conditioned and anything like that.
Did they put forward a start date for this?
No, don't forget, it'll be open planning permission in 3 years' time.
3 years, isn't it?
Yeah,
But
so.
they've not said we want to start this like,
Immediately,
as soon
no.
as we get planning.
No.
I recall the people at council, Cheshire Region Council, talked about garden village. They said the first homes on the site would be available by 2029. They said, which obviously in 4 years' time.
Yes,
Uh,
that
But
was
they've
my
got to start building them a year before that at least, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're looking, so it's 20, yeah, so they'd have to start building them 27, 28, wouldn't
Yeah, they would.
they? To make them available at the beginning of 29.
Yeah.
I think they said they'd start some construction in 2026. I'm not sure if that was infrastructure or
That's infrastructure work
would that be relating to the whole site then?
relating to the whole
Yeah.
site. Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
probably more beneficial for this application then, but I think it still needs confirming how people on this site are going to access their services and how they're going to, like how the heating systems will be put in place, how everything else is going to be dealt with.
Yeah. It feels very isolated to me.
Mm.
Can I just throw in something, just for information? Do you know, in Handful Village, they've got 2 doctors only,
Yeah.
the medical centre and the one that's actually opposite the War Memorial.
Yes.
Now that is only a slave. The main office for that
It's in Cheadle-Hulme.
is in Cheadle-Hulme. So if these people are told to register at the Cheadle-Hulme office, they can still go to the Handforth one.
Right. That's very strange, isn't it? That
It is.
hasn't been offered to the sanctuary.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
they have specifically been told they have to go to Walmsley,
Yeah,
which is,
it's not
I
right.
think, unacceptable.
Yes.
But this is one of the problems when you start introducing a greater population to an area with small doctors. They have to extend in some way,
Yeah.
and that has to work hand in hand with the building work that goes on. I mean, you've got the Sunfield site and you've got the sanctuary, which is complete. The Sunfield site isn't complete. They can't go to our doctors either, as far as I'm aware. So you've got all this population here of individuals who have no doctors close by to go to. Now, those people at the Sunfield site can actually get through. They can get through to Handforth fairly easily, and they could even walk it even now if they wanted to. But there's still this big question mark. Where are all these people going to go?
Yeah.
Because I don't think there are the facilities. You've got a lot of building going on in Wilmslow. You've got a new application in Wilmslow at the bottom end, where they've built all those new houses fairly recently. You've got a new application on the field next to that now. I'm just concerned that all these people are not going to have the facilities, and I think it's a really important question that we ask of our doctors, and we ask of the designers, the Garden Village. I think we need a really urgent meeting, because this is just, if we're going to move forward as fast, reasonably quickly now, we don't have answers to our questions, and that concerns me, because these are going to be residents of Handful, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah.
They are.
So why aren't they accessing Handful facilities?
So on the other end of the scale, you've got 106 dwellings. That could be 212 adults.
Yeah.
106 kids if you all had one each. Where are those? Which schools are those kids going to go to?
Well, just use those figures. Not, you can't. That wouldn't apply to the sanctuary, but the Sunfield site is even bigger.
Yeah.
The kids will go to the school which is to be built smack bang in the centre of the Garden Village.
Well, when's it going to be built?
Yeah,
That's what we're saying.
This is the problem.
The infrastructure needs to be there.
I think the funds need to be raised through the sale of land and the sale of these houses to be able to afford to build that kind of infrastructure.
Yes.
I think that's the other dimension of it.
Yes, absolutely.
Some of them-
It is.
Yeah.
How can you build these? Because it's going to have to be the local authority to build schools.
Yeah.
It's down to the local authority.
I think we
Where
need.
they've got the money to build the school, they haven't.
No.
So they need to sell some land to raise the capital to build that infrastructure.
The more we talk about this, the worse it's getting in my
Yeah,
mind,
yeah,
because I think
absolutely.
we need to have absolute assurance from our local doctors, that is Wilmslow and the like, that they are going to be able to cope with these until such time as that medical centre is built.
Yeah.
Some funding for the new school is going to come directly from S106 payments attributable to the Sunfield site and the sanctuary.
But when's it going to be built?
That's
This is the problem, isn't it? It's all very well saying, well, this is where the money's coming from, but when's it going to happen? If you're going to start with all these people, then you've got, the school isn't there, the doctors aren't there, and so forth and so on. Where are they going to go? Where are those children going to go? They haven't got room in the Grange. They are full. St Benedict's are full. So where are these children going to go? It's unreasonable and against most national policy that you expect people to get in a car and travel to a school or the doctors. The whole idea of being green is that you're able to walk to places. You're able to get to them, at least in an easy fashion. These certainly aren't able to access anything easily, as far as I can see. It's a huge concern for me. Huge.
I think at this point, the only thing we can do is ask them to confirm, well, firstly to confirm how these people are going to access all these services, but also to make sure that these houses aren't occupied until they are able to access those services. I think that's something that we can comment on at the moment, but we can say that we want a condition that no houses can be occupied until a time where these people have access to the services that they need to get to. And that could be through temporary access that the local council pay for, or it could just be until the time that those services are available on the Garden Village site.
And in the meanwhile, perhaps we could do some research with our local doctors and find out what kind of availability they have for patients, and that includes Wilmslow, and just see how it's going to pan out. Because it's not fair to affect other people who are already using our doctors by having an influx of people when they can't cope with them. So I think that would be a useful exercise. And perhaps the schools as well. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So how can we comment on this application right now? Because we know that there's things that we need to be resolved, probably through a meeting. But do you think there's any comments that we can provide them at the relevant? I think the main one that we can say to them is that these houses can't be occupied until those services are already made available, or the access to existing services is made available to them.
I'd like to reiterate my desire that whatever we say is that we're pleased about this development, because it removes the uncertainty in people's minds as to whether the garden village is going to go ahead or not. That we need houses of the type proposed here, both borough-wide and within our township. We're pleased to see the strip of greenfield land between the development and the A555. We are concerned about these houses being somewhat isolated as it stands, and what's happened to the proposed bus service between the Garden Village Centre and the centre of Handforth. That we are concerned with the drainage of surface and foul water from this site. And B, we're concerned, and lastly, that we're concerned that these houses seem to be in the course of erection before there is adequate infrastructure provided in the form of medical facilities and a school. What else might we put in there? Medical facilities, school. Those are the most important things, aren't they?
Yeah.
If we run with those comments and again on the access, we need to make sure that either these homes aren't occupied until those services are made available on site, or until temporary access can be provided that's fair and sustainable in line with Garden Village to current village facilities.
You'd also put that as a planning council, we're not happy until we meet with the Garden Village people and get the answers from them that we're putting across.
Yeah.
We will not make a comment.
The clerk to organise.
Definitely.
So should we propose that we can't support the application at the moment, but we're happy to see it come forward?
Oh yeah, we put
these,
that.
yeah. So with the comments that we've got, if you got those actually, what have we sort of commented on what we're going to say so far?
I definitely wouldn't say we can't support the application at the moment.
Well, we can't support it in its current form because we know that there are matters that need to be resolved, whether that's through conditions or otherwise.
Can we leave it open until we've got answers to the questions that Roger put?
You don't get answers to questions though, you know that, don't you?
Say again?
You don't get answers to questions, you don't. Through the planning portal.
No, we won't.
No.
But I'm not going to, don't want to vote on this until I do know for certain that those things have been put in place, because all we're doing here is creating an issue. So I'd like to know that. And I think if the Garden Village people know that our problems.
I'll refrain from support or object in any way, shape or form.
No, I'm not saying I object.
No.
What I'm saying is we want to have some answers.
Yeah.
And
To
until we've
support
got
them.
those answers,
Yeah.
because let's face it, these will be our residents.
Yeah.
We have to act on their behalf.
Yeah.
They're going to kick off if they suddenly move into a house and they've got no access to a doctor, they've got no access to a school. What are they going to say? This is our job, is to make sure that these things are sorted out. The planning application in many ways is a side issue, isn't it?
Oh, it is,
until all of these things are put into place.
Yeah.
I, for one, I'm not going to say that I support that. It's not that I don't support it. I just don't believe that the right things are in place behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes you uncomfortable, doesn't it? I'm sorry. I
No,
don't,
I'm not uncomfortable.
I
This chair's quite
I
good.
feel very strongly about this, knowing what
I
happened
think we
to
should say
a
the
resident on
town
the
council are
something.
supportive of a proper garden village project.
Yes, that's a
Yeah.
A nice opening.
After consulting with the
Yeah.
garden.
But a concern
But a concern about
and
Yeah.
those
Really,
issues that we've.
Yeah. You can say you're supportive of a proper garden village as defined project going forward.
As defined by the
As
government.
defined by the government, yeah.
Yeah. You can word it like that, yeah.
And there's
that's
no
the best
way-
to word it.
There's no way
And-
without all those things
And
in
make the
place.
following comments on this application.
Comments on the application.
Because we're referring to a specific application, that's what we're talking about on here.
Mm.
And that's the way we.
But it's not a planning application, is it? It's reserved matters. So it's tidying up odds and ends.
It's a planning
So the
application.
planning application is the main one for the whole bang shoot, isn't it? This is just reserved matters for one tiny fraction of the whole.
Yeah, okay, but we're splitting hairs there, aren't we? we've
It's-
still got the
yeah.
issue. I know what you're saying, but we still have an issue, don't we, with the background stuff.
Yeah.
We do.
You know, and that's the problem.
That needs resolving before we make any decisions for definite.
Yeah.
We like it, but we'd like to know more.
Interesting, I put the onus on the people moving into those new homes to make sure that they've done their own homework, make sure they can get a doctor's and a school for their kids.
I'd say the developer needs to.
Not just move into a house randomly and go, hang on.
Well, the developer needs to be able to, even if, like, so if these are allowed to be occupied before any services are put in the garden village, the developer needs to put in place and make residents aware of which services they can and can't access and how to get to those. And they should be accessible. They should be within a reasonable sort of, because at the moment the only way to get to any services from that site will be by car. And there needs to be an alternative means of access to get to those services.
Yeah. It's also interesting what happened on Right Close, isn't it? Where the folk moved in, and then they were told, oh, actually, we're not going to do this. We're going to build around here.
And the station, for that
Around
matter.
the station. Yeah. Yeah.
So if these homes are to be occupied before any infrastructure is put in place on the garden village site, they need to be, everyone who wants to buy one of these homes needs to be made aware of the services that they can and can't access.
I don't think you find that they'll do that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They will if they want to sell homes, don't they?
Yeah.
And that's not good for our residents. So,
Right, so back onto our comments, what can we say at the moment? Because we know that we need to resolve some matters. Well, aside from that, we know we need some things resolved with the developer and with the council. We know that, but what can we say at the moment in response to this planning application?
I think we say very much along the lines of what Roger read out there. That, you know, the first one was that it puts to bed all the question marks, and that's quite an important point, but it's not as important as all the others. And we need to have clarification that all of these matters will be resolved before people move in.
Because it's going to go to the strategic planning board,
Yeah.
Treasury's Council. So at least if we say that, the strategic planning board of Treasury's Council has to read that comment.
Yeah.
I think we should start off by cautiously welcoming this, but pointing out that we have reservations about transport between these homes and the village centre, the drainage and access of the occupants to the appropriate infrastructure, like doctor surgeries and the
I
school.
think that's what we should say.
Word it that way, yeah. Say we support it, but we have reservations in A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
And with that, we can only clarify that with a meeting with
With the
people.
yeah, I can't
Yeah.
call them the Garden Village people though. It sounds ridiculous.
Yes, it has
I know, I can't call them that.
Yeah.
The Cheshire's team responsible
yeah,
for the
yes,
development of the
yes,
site.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Basically-
I think as part of it, we need to say we need to have a meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
I can say that in there. That's irrelevant. We can speak to Charles
Yeah.
and sort
Yeah.
out a
Yeah.
meeting. Yeah.
Are these the people we had the Zoom meeting with?
Yeah.
I think have we had two with them? The new team, just one, I can't
I
remember.
can recall at least one.
We had
We
one
had one.
this year, but it wasn't much happening, unfortunately.
No.
It was,
But now it is happening.
now it is
and
sort
we
of happening, yeah.
You know, we should have had a meeting, to be honest, before this application.
Is it?
So we had a clearer vision.
They didn't
from
exactly leap forward and offer, did they?
No.
I mean,
There
the
was
main
a-
thing they discussed at that one I attended, I think it was the only one, was the power, the boreholes.
Yes.
And that was the main structure of the
Yes.
meeting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was a previous planning application which involved establishment of a contractor's yard, basically. And
Yes,
I think that
that was at the far end, wasn't it?
Yeah.
that was to the west of this site,
Yes,
and probably to the west. I think it was to the west of the government land as well. Can't see the map.
and the other thing they mentioned was that the farm converting
Oh,
that
yes,
into.
convert-
Yes.
Is it a
And
museum?
wasn't there a planning application for that?
Yes.
There was, wasn't there?
Was there?
House Farm.
Yeah.
Yes, there was,
There
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
but nothing's happened there, has it?
No, I went down there 2.5 weeks ago, and there's no change.
Should we vote on that then?
Yeah.
So to propose the comments we discussed, say that we're in support of the principle of the village moving forward, but there are matters that we need to resolve, and that we'd like a meeting with the relevant parties at Cheshire Council.
I'll second that.
Yeah.
Okay, all in favour?
And can we just try and do some research on the doctors? Can
You just want to know their current wait time? And,
yeah, whether they've got room for new patients.
yeah.
Because if they say, well, we can't have any new patients, then these people are
It's going to push
stuffed, aren't
for the infrastructure, isn't it?
they? And that's something we need to have, that's information we need to have before we have a meeting with the Garden Village. I'll happily go into my doctors and see if I can speak to
Yes, I don't
the
know
manager.
how open they are about that sort of thing.
No, but they need to be.
Yeah,
They need to be open, but this is the council we're talking about. I'm not talking about as a.
No.
We need to know what their plans are.
Yeah.
And if indeed you're right about this expansion, when is that going to happen?
Expansion of.
The Hamforth Health Centre here.
Oh, that's part of the S106 agreement with the Garden Village. Yeah.
But at what point does that happen?
Mm.
That's another question for the Garden Village.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, they can't raise S106 money until they sell land.
No.
May I? Is the meeting more or less closing now?
Yes.
Got one more.
Can I?
Just one more thing before we move.
It's talks about 19.9 to consider any other planning application received by the town council outside of the deadline for publication of the town council agenda, which in the view of the chair of the planning committee could be discussed and agreed. Were there any other?
No, somebody's come through that today.
Okay, in that case, close the meeting at 11:59.
Can I raise before we all disappear the question of this survey that's gone out? I think that survey was an excellent idea, but